In 2016, I signed up to an amateur kickboxing event. The fight weight was at 72 kilograms, but with only 8 weeks until the event, I weighed in at 76 kilograms. How on earth was I supposed to shed 4 kilograms of body fat in 8 weeks? In this video, I will be sharing with you the exact protocol I used to successfully drop fat and get really lean, down to about 7 or 8% body fat, and I made weight for my fight. Even now, this protocol is something that I use to diet down and get lean pretty effortlessly. Hi, for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Matty and I'm a qualified personal trainer, physiotherapist and male model, and I've been training consistently for the last 10 years. Prior to finding this protocol, I found it quite tricky to diet down. I'd fall into this trap of eating very little, massively under eating, seeing the weight drop down quite quickly. Most of it was probably water weight and glycogen anyway. And then as a side effect of dropping my calories too quickly, as a result of eating too little too fast, I would get extremely hungry, overeat, be back to square one and feel guilty about it as well. There were so many issues with this, but the biggest one for me was that I was unable to stick to a diet for a prolonged period of time. It wasn't sustainable for me. And later I discovered that this form of crash dieting was basically binge eating. But one day I was scrolling through YouTube and I saw this guy, this black dude who was absolutely jacked, really aesthetic, really muscular, but lean, powerful looking. And he was eating a Domino's pizza a day and getting into that kind of shape. So curiosity got the better of me and I clicked on it. And that was my first introduction to intermittent fasting, but also Brandon Carter. So let me share with you exactly what I used, the protocol that I followed. And if you're interested, I'll explain a little bit about the science behind it as well. To cut a long story short, is I would wake up in the morning around 7 or 8 a.m. I would probably feel a little bit hungry, but I would not eat. I would have plenty of water. And usually those feelings of hunger would subside, because how many times have you thought you were hungry and actually it turned out you were thirsty and all you needed was water? Your body can misinterpret the feelings of hunger and thirst. They might feel quite similar. Then around 1 to 1.5 hours after waking up, I would have a black coffee. This is strategic caffeine and it helped to blunt my appetite, but also to increase my clarity and my focus and put me in the mood to do work, whatever study, whatever work I had to do. And then about an hour and a half after this, I might start getting hungry. So then I would have a piece of fruit. I'd usually settle for a pink lady apple. And this would hold me over, keep me satiated for another hour until my first meal. Notice how I am pushing back my first meal. I would only eat around 1:30 p.m. So around 4 to 6 hours after waking up. This meal would usually be medium sized. It would be high in proteins and a little bit lower in fat and carbs. But the carbohydrates would usually be complex and I would have some vegetables as well. So a good example of a meal I would have would have been a mostly egg white, if not completely egg white omelette with spinach, onions, mushrooms, cheese at the time as well, because I didn't realize I was dairy intolerant. Additionally, 2 slices of wholemeal toast. Now this would be quite filling and would give me the energy to go and do a workout about 2 hours later. If it was a training day, of course, I would go for the workout, but if it was a non-training day or a rest day, I would go for a walk immediately after eating. And then about an hour or so after I finished the workout, I would have my biggest meal in the evening. This would be the biggest meal I have in a day. It would be the most calories I would consume in one sitting. And usually I would eat whatever I wanted. It could be takeout, it could be pizza, it could be Five Guys, it could be whatever I fancied eating, provided it fit my macros and had a good amount of protein. And then after this, I would have something sweet as well. So maybe an hour after eating this big meal, I would have either a bar of chocolate or a tub of low-fat ice cream. And I would wake up the next morning feeling lighter and leaner. By following this protocol exactly, I got down to 7% body fat, which is the leanest I've ever been in my life. My abs had veins. That's how lean I was. I made weight for my fight with ease, and I also won the fight. So why is it that I was able to get shredded eating like this? Eating takeout, eating pizza, ice cream and chocolate. Surely you have to eat chicken, brown rice and broccoli every day to get into shape. No. Here is why this protocol worked. The basic principle of fat loss, as I talk about in most of my videos, is calories in must be less than calories out. I.e., you eat less than you burn. If you do this, you will lose weight no matter what you eat. You can get shredded, you can get lean on McDonald's. In my case, I was restricting my eating window. By pushing my first meal back, I would give myself less time in the day to eat. and therefore less time to consume calories, and therefore I would be in a caloric deficit. This style has now been popularized as intermittent fasting. There are many variations. The one that I was kind of following loosely was the 16 and 8, which is where you fast for 16 hours and eat for 8 hours. There are 3 main types of diet, as coined by Peter Attia. There's the time restrictive diet, which is what we just talked about, the intermittent fasting. There's the tracking restrictive diet, which is essentially you add up the numbers if it fits your macros, flexible dieting. It's also kind of what I was following to an extent, but I wasn't tracking so religiously because the intermittent fasting made sure I was in a caloric deficit. I would end up tracking later on in my fitness journey, but that is for another video. And of course there is dietary restriction, which is where you can cut out an entire food group, an entire macronutrient. So if you're on keto, you cut out carbohydrates. Or if you're trying to clean eat, then you just would avoid all this processed food. Aside from making it easier to diet, intermittent fasting has other health benefits too. You have more clarity in the morning, you feel less bloated, and you feel lighter as well. Eating fewer meals meant that I could eat larger meals. I am a feaster. I'm not really a snacker. I enjoy eating large meals and feeling satiated. And because I knew that I preferred eating more of my calories or more of my food before bed, that is how I structured my diet. That is what intermittent fasting allowed me to do. I am someone who can basically go the entire day being hungry, but before bed, I need to eat something. Otherwise, I really struggle to sleep. Drinking plenty of water and using coffee or caffeine strategically helped me to prolong my fast, as did the piece of fruit, the pink lady apple. The training also helped me blow my appetite because after I do a kickboxing class for 2 hours, I would not be able to eat for 45 to 50 minutes after training. So let's say my kickboxing class was from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I wouldn't be able to eat until around 7 p.m. in the evening. Potentially the main reason why this diet or this protocol was so successful is because I allowed myself to eat these naughty foods. Of course, before a workout, I would eat something healthy to power me through. But in the evening, I would eat some naughtier, some cheap foods, things that you wouldn't normally associate with training as an athlete. Was this absolutely optimal for performance? Probably not. I would probably eat healthier if I was training as a professional or if I was training for the Olympics or something. But in this particular case where I knew I had to drop a certain amount of weight in a certain period of time, this was the best way to do it. If you want to make your diet sustainable, i.e. be able to stick to it, you have to make some part of it feel like you're not dieting. For me, this was eating that tub of low-fat ice cream or frozen yogurt, or having a bar of dairy milk / green and black chocolate. I would feel super satiated and really ready to do it again. This, of course, was the old protocol I followed, and it did work, but it has its flaws. It has since evolved and has become far more refined, and I've done this over a period of time using my experiences, trial and error, research. So you can get the more refined version on my Etsy store. It's a full in-depth guide on how to lose body fat and get your six-pack abs. It goes over what exactly intermittent fasting is, how to set up your calories, and answers some frequently asked questions. Your support really helps me in my business, so please at least go and have a look. I'll leave a link in the description below. And of course, because you guys are watching my videos, I'll give you all a 25% discount, so use the code below. Now, one thing I must add is that it can take up to 2 weeks for intermittent fasting to become a bit easier, i.e. your body can take that long to adapt. For me, it was about a week and a half before my body adapted. But since then, it's adapted so well to the point where I have basically been doing intermittent fasting every single day, almost every single day. And yes, of course, it is possible to bulk with intermittent fasting. In my opinion, it's the best way. And in the next video, I will be sharing with you how you can do that. So make sure you're going to check that out. Of course, subscribe and click the notifications bell so you don't miss the next upload, because that's the one about bulking. Catch you guys on the next one. I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found.